Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon native tank, and I was just reflecting this morning being Friday morning, and here in America today is Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and it is 1 year ago today that I purchased this tank. I did so through the generosity of several of my viewers. I'd set up a GoFundMe page and people very generously donated. I was able to get this tank, and we've all been able to enjoy it ever since. I was also thinking about this tank and remembering that my minnow trap is set up down the street. It's been down there for 4 days now, 3 days at the very least. So we're going to run down and get that. Then we're going to come back, and I don't know if I'm going to video me putting everything in the tank or not. I'm not sure if that's going to happen today. I am going to do a big water change on this tank today and get in there and wipe the glass down and get all that tannin stained water out. I've got a light that's burned out on the left hand side of the tank. One of those LEDs is out, so there's only 2 rather than 3 over there. So first we're going to go down the street, check the minnow trap. Then we'll come back and we'll probably at least do enough videos so that we can get a nice little before and after look at the video change and the water change and the addition of the fish. So sit tight and I'll see you down the street.
Alright, let's try this again. I got all the way down here once to find that while I brought my camera, I didn't bring my head strap, so I had to run back up to the house and get my head strap. Oh, it's still there. I see bait. Oh, I even see a couple of crayfish in there. Looks like a pretty big one too. I was expecting maybe some minnows today, but probably not any crayfish just because of the time of year. When it gets cold, they all burrow down into the mud and go dormant. And it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 crayfish and no minnows. Of course, after 4 days of being in here with 4 crayfish, any minnows that were in here might have gotten munched up, and these crayfish seem really sluggish. It's just the end of the year. It's cold weather's coming, so that's it. We're gonna call it good for the year. I'm gonna go ahead and get this packed up. Should be able to untie this easily enough. There we go. So there we go. There's our big haul for the day. That'll be the last one for the year. We'll come back down in the springtime. I thought I saw an enormous crayfish on the bottom there, but it turns out it was just a leaf wrapped around the back of a stick. So, alright, I'll see you guys back in the fish room.
Alright, and once again everybody thinks they're getting some food, but they're not. They're getting some new tank mates. So here's the 4 crayfish. I already dumped all the water out. So we're just going to go ahead and try to dump these 4 crayfish in. And it shouldn't be too crazy interesting. They'll just sort of spread out and separate. The only time it gets interesting is when they try to make their way into a hole that's already occupied by someone. They got lots and lots of room in there. They're probably still so cold. It's interesting the way this one in the back over here is walking with its tail up like that. I noticed it was like that in the bucket too. I'm wondering if it's not a female with berries, but I don't see any berries. Well, I don't think so. Injury perhaps? Cold weather, cold water, I don't know. I do know they just went from water that was probably, I don't know, I'm going to say in the 50s, to water that's easily in the upper mid 70s, probably 76, maybe 77 degrees in this tank. So, alright, give me half a second to reposition myself here on this one. I'm all discombobulated this morning. I'll try to give you, there you go, full view of the tank. Now I'm going to get started on a water change, and we're going to get it all cleaned up and a lot of that tannin stain out of the water. So there's your before, and there's your after. So I got in there and did a really big water change, probably 50 to 60%. I wiped down the front glass, although there really didn't need to be a whole lot of glass wiping going on because of the Chinese algae eater in the tank. He's just got everything stripped down really clean. I also replaced the burned out LED on the left, so we've got 3 fully functional LEDs now. I've still got the light to the right and the forward section of the tank turned off. That's my really bright one. It's got the twin T5 units in it, and that really tends to bring the temperature of the tank way up. And I think some of the reasons I'm having issues with the one fish in here, the sucker fish, is because of the temperature of the tank. It's also been suggested that the Chinese algae eater in there might be doing some damage, or if nothing else, at least causing stress to the fish. I will say it's been 2 days since I shot the beginning part of this video. I got distracted, some stuff came up, and I never did get to finishing the water change a couple days ago, but I just finished that this evening. So now we got all those tannins out of the tank, and the sucker fish, if I can find him in there, actually looks like he's doing better today. And then after the water change, he got really stressed out and all those colors got all blotchy again. So the blotchy colors are definitely more, there he is. The blotchy colors, I think, are definitely more to do with stress than physical damage. I don't think those marks were like chew marks on him from the Chinese algae eater, the way we saw on my angelfish back in the day when all that damage was done to the angelfish. So you can still see the sort of pale spot right behind its head, but it's nowhere near as rough as it was looking. Now that could be because when I did the water change, I did not really add a lot in the way of hot water. I just put enough hot water in the tank to keep it from being cold when I was finished. I didn't want condensation forming on the glass or anything like that. So I put just enough warm water in there to get it back to, you know, room temperature-ish, 72 degrees or something. So I definitely knocked the temperature down by 5 to 10 degrees maybe, and that might have been enough to make him happier. I really think that that's what the issue with that fish is more than anything else, is the fact that it's just a cold water fish, and it really probably should be in cooler water than I've got in this tank. So we'll see how it fares over the coming winter cooler months when my basement cools down a little bit. Maybe my tanks will cool down a little bit too. We'll see. So anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I got coming up. I'm trying to get caught up on a bunch of stuff down here. So lots of videos coming up in the near future. Make sure you're subscribed. You won't miss any of those. Don't forget, this one is my 125-gallon native tank. And I'll see you real soon in the next one.